Hey, you smell those pheromones? Mm-hmm. It means you're digging on me. You like that stinky smell? Is there a stank on me that's making you go, ooh, that handsome man?
First of all, that is so gross. He was really disgusting in this episode. But second of all, Kody seems to think that pheromones and body odor are the same thing. And then he had me questioning if they were the same thing. So I decided to go over to ChatGPT and see what it says. So I asked it, are pheromones and body odor the same? And of course, it confirmed what I already knew. They are not the same thing. So Kody stinking up that whole room, that was not pheromones. There was nothing about that attractive. Him being a weirdo about the whole thing was just him being kind of a gross weirdo. He was stinking up that room with this stinky, sweaty body odor. And then talking about it in a way that probably made his brother really uncomfortable and probably Robyn as well, because it was just very odd. But before I go any further with this, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Brittany, and this is Happily Ever Reality, where I talk about reality shows that I love. And today we're talking about season 20, episode 4 of Sister Wives, which is titled, You Need to Shut Up. And I want to start this video out by talking about Kody and Robyn because they were definitely giving us a lot to talk about in this episode. First of all, I thought they had completely moved in the last episode. I even brought up the fact that I was really surprised that they didn't draw the whole thing out for multiple episodes. I just thought it was all wrapped up in the last episode and we got to see them walking out of the house and that was the end of it. But no, they bring it back up and they are packing in this episode. Kody's brother Michael is there. And Kody just gives us a lot of weird stuff, including that part about the room stinking. All of that happened when they were packing to move. We do find out a little bit more about how the ex-wives feel about this move and the purchase of a new home. Janelle says that she thinks this might make Kody get a little more greedy because he might want some more money to help with this new house. I don't think that's surprising. I think Kody's already greedy, and anything that makes him more money, even if it's taking from his own family, is something he will do. I also think he let us know in that last episode how he was feeling about things, because the fact that he said he wasn't really thinking about selling Coyote Pass, and that's not his exact words, I'm not quoting him, but he said something along those lines that he wasn't really thinking about selling Coyote Pass until they found this house, lets me know that he wasn't worried or concerned about anybody else but himself. The big storyline for Kody and Robyn in this episode is the move out of the house. That's really it, but Kody does give us a lot in this episode. He is doing that thing where he just says stuff that is absolutely ridiculous, and he also gives us a little bit of insight into his own thinking. The first clip I want to put in goes back to the clip at the beginning of this video where he is talking about the pheromones and he's talking about flirting with Robyn. And I want to break it down a little bit for you guys because he just says some really, really odd stuff.
You like that? Like the way I smell?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm always peacocking at her. Something I would never do with another woman.
Did you catch how he threw in the part where he said something I would never do for another woman? Why does he have to add that? We know he's not with another woman. We know that he is just with one woman now. There's no one else. We know how badly he treated his ex-wives, that he didn't want to spend time with them or give them attention or affection. We know that now. He doesn't need to keep adding that he's just with one woman, but he continues to do it. He just throws out these little digs. And I'm floored as to why. It just seems odd. It doesn't even seem like it's a natural thing for someone to say.
We've been moving for months now. We haven't had a romantic getaway, an escape, time together. And so what's happened is we become battle buddies, not lovers.
And there he does it again. It just feels like he's trying to prove to us that he is a romantic, flirtatious person and that he will do it for the right person. Christine, Janelle, and Meri, they were not the right people for him, so he couldn't be who he wanted to be. At least that's what it feels like he's trying to express to us. What I don't think he realizes is that as a viewer of the show, I don't care that he can do all of that for one person. I don't care, because what I was watching for was to see this man who had 4 wives and how he maintained 4 relationships. So he's just proving that he wasn't a good husband every time he says something like this.
I'm just flirting around here, just having some fun with it, like making my stinky body something romantic. Hey, you smell those pheromones? It means you're digging on me. You like that stinky smell? Is there a stank on me that's making you go, ooh, that handsome man?
I talk about how I think he practices what he's going to say in the mirror before they do filming, but I am choosing to believe that he didn't practice that. I think he came up with that all on his own right then and there, because I feel like if he practiced it, he would have realized he shouldn't have said that. It's so gross sounding, and he would have stopped himself, or Robyn would have stopped him. Maybe.
And she's like, why are you always peacocking? Because you're the one I'm interested in.
I'm not actually someone who goes for it either.
And he does it again. He says, because you're the one I'm interested in. We know, Kody. We know that you like Robyn. We get it. You don't have to keep doing this. But he does. He just keeps going. And I really liked Robyn's response. I did like that she says it's not her thing. She's not into it. And then after this, it goes into them talking about how when he was married to Christine, Janelle, and Meri, there were rules about what was appropriate. You know, they didn't want to flirt and there shouldn't be affection in front of one another. So that is sort of something Robyn struggles with now. She's not used to being able to flirt with him and show affection. At least that is what she says. What I don't understand, though, is we know they didn't get together as a family very often, and we know that Kody was there more than he was anywhere else. So is this really new? Is it really new that he's flirting with her this much, or is it just new that he's doing it when there's a camera crew there? What do you guys think? Do you think he really held back even when no one else was around? That doesn't even make sense. And we know they weren't spending time together as a whole family. So they could have flirted all they wanted. No one was there to see it. While they're packing, they discuss the reasons that they're moving. There's nothing in there that I haven't heard before. We haven't heard on the show, so I'm not going to talk about that a lot. But there was this moment where Kody talks about Christine and how he really doesn't want to say her name, talk about her, talk to her, nothing. But he has to interact with her because of her kids. Yes, he said her kids. I'm going to put the clip in here. I'm sure all of you caught it. His brother caught it. His brother pointed it out. Here's the clip so you guys can see it again.
I want to forget she existed. And yet I've got to interact with her kids.
Her kids, your kids too.
Yeah. Our
Like
kids.
your kids.
We've got, so I want to interact with our kids.
I love that his brother corrected him so quickly. And then Kody corrects himself, but I wonder if his brother realizes that Kody does that a lot. Where he talks about the kids from Christine, Janelle, and Meri as their kids and not his kids. I wonder if his family sees the stuff on social media and sees it as true as well. You know, I wonder if because it's not like it's just me and other YouTubers. There's comments everywhere, every form of social media. So even if they're not clicking on a video, you can see comments on Facebook, on the TLC social media accounts where people bring this up. And I wonder if his family sees it and then they go spend time with him and they're like, yeah, he does say Christine's kids. So let's make sure we get him to stop doing that. But the best part is I don't think Kody realizes that it's symbolic of the way he really treats them. And part of the reason their family didn't succeed. Now, as he's talking to his brother, they start talking about their dad, who died with 3 wives. So his dad managed to make polygamy work, but Kody points out that his dad was actually becoming a polygamist at the same age as Kody was ending his marriages to the first 3 wives. So they did polygamy very different, but Kody points out that his dad was very manly and masculine. And you know, that is a huge thing with Kody. He worries about masculinity a lot. He wants to appear to be a man's man more than any other man I think I've ever seen on TV in my life. But Kody focuses on that, and it sort of makes you realize where he got those ideas from, because I just thought You know, he's been on YouTube too much on the wrong side of it, and he's found those like alpha males, and he's taking this all too far. But now I sort of wonder, you know, it may have went back to seeing his own father become a polygamist and have multiple wives, because he talks about his dad being a cowboy and how he thinks the women fell for him because they just, you know, they got to see all that masculinity and there was attraction to that. I'm going to put the clip in of Kody talking about it here.
But he was also extremely masculine, macho, and he was a cowboy.
Kody goes a little bit further and says something about his dad being out on a horse in the rain and how it would make women say hubba hubba, something like that. He goes further with it though, and he really is saying that it's masculinity and manliness that made these women attracted to him, and that's why he could maintain the relationships that he did and be a polygamist. And then that just made me think this might be the origin story. This might be why Kody is obsessed with masculinity and gender roles. You know, over on the Special Forces show, the first episode, he talks about how men want respect and women want love. I think that's what he said, something along those lines. But the point is, it had nothing to do with anything happening on Special Forces. There, Kody is saying it. It's very possible the producers got him to do that because they know that's how he is, but they know that's how he is because he says stuff like this. He's so focused on it. And he's not the first man or the only man that's out there being this way, but it does make you realize it might have started with his dad and viewing his dad as a successful polygamist and someone he loved and looked up to. That might explain some of Kody. There is one more thing I want to talk about before I move on from him, and that is him talking about the house. This part made me absolutely furious. He's talking about moving out of the house, and he's talking about when he got it as well, and how it made the other wives jealous. I'm going to put the clip in here. I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. He just drives me crazy. Here's the clip.
I don't know what went wrong, but I know that I stirred up a jealousy putting her in this house.
I have to be honest with you guys. If I was in this situation, if I was married to Kody and then he went and got Robyn this house, I would have 100% been jealous. No, it is not necessarily my style of home, but it is still a beautiful, beautiful house. I absolutely would still live in it. And if I had a lesser home and then she got that one, I would have been jealous. Yeah. So to me, when he's acting like he doesn't know what happened, I struggle a little bit with that. I think it's pretty understandable.
This place?
My wives, in whatever way, couldn't handle that I was willing to fight so much to make sure that Robyn was safely kept.
Safely kept from what? Is this a high crime area? What is she being kept from? Maybe it's all the other men that wanted to marry her. Remember, she said she had a lot of people interested in her. Are they still trying to get her? Because I can't figure out what she was being safely kept from. He needed her kept in the woods away from people. I just don't get what he's talking about at all. And if that's the case, then why wasn't he trying to protect all of his wives and all of his kids? He was okay with them being out in the world, but not Robyn and her kids. I don't know. I can understand why they were upset. To be honest with you, they held it together a lot longer than I would have.
I'm sorry. There's things that you do as a polygamist that you have to do that make another wife feel like, well, how's that fair for me?
Buying her that house was absolutely not one of those things that you had to do. You didn't have to do that. You know what could have been something that might be upsetting to someone else, even though I don't think it should be upsetting, but it might have been to Robyn. When one of the kids needed to have a surgery that required you to go with them and leave the other wives for an extended period of time, but it was one of your kids and they have a medical situation and you need to go be there, that may upset one of the wives, even though I, again, don't think it should, but maybe it does. Then you still go with them, even though that wife is upset, because that's just one of the things you might have to do as a polygamist is go be with one specific wife and one kid if there's a medical situation. That is a good example of something that may upset another wife, even though, again, really, it wasn't that long. What did they say? 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Robyn would have been fine. But maybe it would upset her. That makes sense to me. Buying this house, not so much. Anyway, they pack up, they leave the house. The music was so dramatic. Like, it was really, really dramatic music, which I thought was kind of funny. But that is it for Kody and Robyn. Let's go ahead and talk about Christine. Even though Christine doesn't have a huge storyline in this episode, she does still have a lot going on if you think about it. She has another kid moving from Utah to North Carolina. That's Peyton. She talks to him about it, and he says that he really wants to go there and be closer to Maddie and Janelle. He talks about how Garrison's passing has made him realize that. Like, he has a part of his life that's missing, and he wants to go and be closer to them. We also find out that Christine and Janelle are really more separate than they've ever been. She says she mostly talks to Janelle about business. I guess they had a business together and they're separating it. Christine says she just feels like she wants to be in charge of it more. She wants to be in charge of her own side of the business. Here's the thing about the two of them. They were really close, but they were also in a situation where they were kind of forced together, right? Like, Janelle comes into the family. Oh, let me flip that around. Christine enters the family. Janelle and her become close almost out of necessity. Now they're living far apart. I think their differences are just showing more because they're being their own people. They're not connected in a way where they have to be together. I think they're always going to love each other and care about each other. They have children that are siblings. They have these experiences that are the same and these memories from when their kids were being raised together, right? But it does make you wonder how well they really get along. It feels like they're growing apart, which is okay. But there's this moment where Christine talks about the kids going there and how Janelle had made a comment that all the grandkids were in North Carolina.
And I have all the grandkids living with me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like thinking inside, you need to shut up right now. That was the moment where I felt like slapping her. How could she say that?
There's a few more moments in the show, I think 2 more times, where she mentions how she feels like she's a bad mom because they're choosing to be near Janelle and not be near her. There is this part of me that wonders if she's changed a lot since she left Kody and then remarried. I wonder if her changing has been a bit difficult for them. And I don't mean in a way where there's any sort of estrangement or anything like that, but I wonder if it's just been a little bit hard for all that change to happen. And then their mom really changes as well. And then there's this new person in her life. Even though they seem to like him, it just makes you wonder if there was some distance that started when she began dating and got remarried. I don't know. I'm just there. I have no reason to believe that other than the fact that they're moving and Christine seems different. She seems like a different person, but I don't think she could be who she wanted to be when she was with Kody. That's my theory, but you guys let me know what you think down in the comments. Let's go ahead and talk about Janelle. I really don't have a lot to say about her in this episode. We got to see her and her kids and Christine's kids. How many of Christine's kids? McKelty and Peyton, all out there in North Carolina. They went and cut down a tree for Maddie's house. And you guys, the whole time I was watching them do that, I thought they were cutting down a tree for inside the house. And I was really surprised by the tree they picked. I was like, will that fit in there? It seems tall. It's not very full. I was confused. The tree goes on the outside of her house, not the inside. But that was really the big part of the show for Janelle. She does talk about how the year was frustrating for her because she thought by the end of the year, Coyote Pass would have been sold and they would have been planting at the farm there in North Carolina, but that didn't work out. I guess they needed some permits and things didn't go through, so they didn't get to do any planting. So it'll be another year where they don't have anything growing out there on their farm. So she is feeling a bit frustrated, but that was really it. There wasn't a lot that I picked up on with Janelle. If you guys thought there was anything worth mentioning, go ahead and let me know down in the comments. And let's move on to Meri. When it comes to Meri, it does feel like her parts of the show are a little bit more scripted because there's not a lot just naturally going on anymore. It feels like we are having to watch very deliberate moments with her. We do find out that Jen and her husband have a bike shop, which I thought was kind of cool. And really, Jen and Meri are what we're watching at this point. We find out that Ron and Meri are talking. Ron is the guy that she met when she was doing the speed dating, and she seemed to be attracted to him. So now they're talking, which is good. We see Meri and Jen going through an app, talking about the guys that are on there. Meri talks about how, because of the way she was raised in Mormon culture, she did not casually date. She's not used to just going out there and dating a lot of people. So this is really new for her. But Jen is very encouraging. Jen wants her to go on the apps, try new things, try to meet multiple people so that she gets the opportunity to find the right person. And I think that's great. I think that is what she should do. There's no reason to jump into anything. It seems like Meri's in a good place. Go ahead, take your time if you feel like you have it. I will say that there's one thing about Meri that I don't know if I love, and that is the fact that she seems a little bit judgmental and a little bit picky, maybe a little too judgmental and too picky. I don't know. I've never done dating on an app before. Maybe you need to be that way, but I think some of the things, I don't know, she needs to calm down, maybe be a little bit open-minded. But we know Meri is a bit type A. She likes things just her way. And I think we're seeing that when she's talking about the guys that she's meeting and the guys on the apps. I did absolutely love the part when Meri used the word hussy and Jen asked her more about it. I'm going to put the clip in here so you guys can hear it.
What exactly is the definition of a hussy?
Well, it's like a woman who has a lot of men.
Men in polygamy would be considered hussies. They have a lot of women.
I really like it when Jen gives us some of her wisdom. I think Meri needs to hear it. I'm glad she's on there with her. I really don't know what would happen to Meri if Jen wasn't there, because Jen is such a huge part of Meri's storyline now, and I like watching it. I know that not everyone does. Some people say the show needs to end. This isn't something that they want to see, but I am enjoying these two. The show could end and they would go on in social media. They could have their own YouTube channel. I think it'd work. I'd watch it. But I'm glad Jen said that to her. I just thought it was funny. There's another moment where Meri brings up how she wants to be with a man who knows how to do his hair. I thought that was kind of funny as well. But I like these two, and that is where I'm going to end this video. If you guys want to add anything, you can do that down in the comments. If you haven't already, I hope you will click like and subscribe and come back to Happily Ever Reality.